Okay, welcome back, guys. Today's episode, we're talking about air conditioning and cooling technologies for solar punk. It's summertime, it's getting hot. Makes you think there's got to be a better way than these volatile compounds that our air conditioners
Exactly. We don't need Freon. We don't need forever chemicals in any sense of the word.
No.
Something that's less electricity dependent.
And more efficient,
not necessarily
too. Air conditioners
deficient, but like off the grid. Like they're not burning good chemicals that make this electricity.
So we're gonna run through some technologies that are pretty solar punk. There's heat pumps, liquid desiccant dehumidifiers. You got like evaporative cooling systems, and geothermal, and lots more. So let's just open windows, cross breeze. Okay, so first technology, heat pumps. There's lots of heat pumps on the market, but there's even more efficient ones than the ones that are available right now that are coming in the future called thermoacoustic heat pumps. And thermoacoustic heat pumps use sound waves to transfer heat from one object to another, and they can get way colder, and they're way more efficient than a traditional heat pump or air conditioning system.
Nice, but is there any disadvantages to using that system?
Yeah, there's a catch. They're expensive, and because they're a cutting edge new technology.
Just dropped, you would say.
Yeah, they have like speakers inside of them to generate sound waves, and then there's like a cylinder of pressurized helium. So that's also why it's expensive, because it uses helium. It doesn't use a lot. It's like you load it up once with helium and it's good to go forever. So yeah, thermoacoustic heat pumps are a very promising technology. They can be powered by either electricity or heat. So you can power them with just a heat source. Like you could use solar thermal power, like solar thermal panels.
Oh yeah.
And it directly turns heat into cooling power. So that is pretty awesome if you think about it, because it's like a free cooling hack. Because
honestly,
normally
you're just using the earth.
Yeah. Just using natural systems, physics. So that's probably my number one solar punk air conditioning technology that's futuristic, but also like really cool and good for the environment.
No, that's a really good plan. My plan's not gonna sound as good.
Okay. What's your plan?
I'm thinking this is like purely like no technology involved, as grassroots as it gets. You plant some high tall trees around your house.
Yeah.
Creating some shade. And you put your house, if your house isn't on a hill, you want to grade it like it's on a hill, you know?
Oh,
which
like
you should already do if
dirt.
you live somewhere rural.
Mound up dirt on one side.
Yeah, so it's like on top of the hill, so like all the air has to go over it.
Oh, okay.
And then you just simply create a negative and a positive source. So like let's say your wind is coming from the northeast.
Yeah.
Open a window on the northernmost eastern part of your house.
Oh yeah.
And then the southwestern part. And then you create like a very optimal draft.
Yeah.
And if it's in the shade, it should still be miles a degree cooler than the outdoors.
Definitely.
At least 6.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that working for sure. Could be a really good idea. But you have to think about heating too in the winter time. You could have like windows on the south side that collect, if you're in the northern hemisphere, that collect
snow?
No, sun rays, and then it goes inside, warms it up. And you could have deciduous trees like next to it. So in the wintertime, the leaves fall off and all the sun rays can go into your house and warm it up. But in the summertime, the trees have a bunch of leaves on them. And you could have like eaves on the house, like overhanging, so you have a nice sunshade from your roof as well. And you could have, so it would be like cooling in the summer, warming in the winter with the trees.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Could always put some turbines up there.
True. Get some vertical axis wind turbines. Those are pretty cool. But, alright, next solar punk cooling technology is atmospheric cooling panels that use the coldness of space to cool on Earth. The way they work is it's like a piece of metal that radiates heat pretty well, but then you paint it with a paint that's like very white. It looks really white, but so it reflects all light coming towards it.
As much as it can, yeah.
Yeah. Like 99.99% of light or something. But also when it radiates heat back out, it radiates in a spectrum that the atmosphere doesn't interact with or doesn't interfere with. So the radiation coming from the panel goes straight out to space where it's really cold. So it cools down the panel pretty well. You can put one in direct sunlight and it'll be 10 degrees cooler than the surrounding air temperature. And you could, if you put it in the shade, it gets even cooler. You could build like a shade apparatus and have some cooling panels in the shade pointing up north, away from the sun, up into the atmosphere, and it would provide cooling power. And then you can use that cooling power to, as your like external heat radiation from like an air conditioner or heat pump, or even a thermoacoustic heat pump it radiates heat away as well. It produces cooling power.
Yeah.
But they also radiate heat away, so you can hook these panels up with one of those, or with our next technology, a liquid desiccant air conditioner, but we'll get to that in a second. You can check out Nighthawk Labs or Nighthawk Live on YouTube. You can look up atmospheric cooling panel Nighthawk. You should be able to find the videos, but they're pretty cool. You can build your own, so it's a pretty solar punk project because it can be a DIY project. Anyone could build these cooling panels. Now on to our next technology of solar punk air conditioning is it was actually developed by the YouTube channel Tech Ingredients. You can look up their air conditioning videos on the Tech Ingredients YouTube channel, and so what they made basically, it's a liquid desiccant dehumidifier with also a cooling cycle in it, so it cools and dehumidifies the air
at the same time.
Yep, at the same time. Wow. For a fraction of the energy cost that you would normally require, as long as you use a solar thermal panel because you have to the liquid desiccant picks up water out of the atmosphere and adds it to its reservoir of water, and you have to evaporate that water off then outside, so you're running it inside, dehumidifying your indoors, and then you have you have a pipe outside that's allowing water to evaporate up off of it, and you need to heat up the water to evaporate it, and so you use a solar thermal panel for that, and then you can also add the cooling panels to the cooling cycle, or if you had one, a thermoacoustic heat pump, which probably don't have one, but this is a more DIY thing. If you combine tech ingredients, desiccant, air, dehumidifier, air conditioner, with a cooling panel made by Nighthawk Live, or whatever his name is, I keep forgetting. But yeah, it would be a really cool cooling system.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would honestly be really beneficial, and like if we can pull it off, like it would be.
Yeah, anyone can pull it off. There's the
well,
videos
just
are
mean,
out
like,
there. Anyone
financially, like sell it as a product.
Yeah,
because like there's like
be
marketing and we have to do.
All right, put that down.
My bad, bro.
Okay.
I'm just mean like logistically, you know?
Yeah. So thinking about setting up a business that assembles and installs these desiccant dehumidifiers and air conditioning systems is definitely a possibility.
We can make it for crawl spaces as well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you could try. They need like a vertical, and they take up more space than like a normal air conditioner. But it would be cool to have use the desiccant dehumidifier, use the same mechanism with a solar thermal panel for heating in the winter. If you could have a single, we'll do a future video on the desiccant dehumidifiers and air conditioners, and maybe even using the same system to run a heater, or like to heat your home from solar thermal panels. So yeah, definitely one of the top solar punk technologies. Definitely is. It's very DIY, very effective and efficient. So
yeah, efficient is the biggest word I feel like you said right there.
Yeah,
like efficient, like because it's not always convenient, but at the end of the day, it's efficient. You're saving the earth. You're being green.
And it's low cost.
Cost.
It's just made up.
It pays itself off eventually.
Very quickly, honestly, if you use solar thermal power. Yeah. So then let's go to another technology. Evaporative cooling technologies like terracotta, the clay.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's porous and it's
very
good so water can wick through it, and so you get it wet and the water evaporates out of it, and because it's a rock also, it's very good at conducting heat. It's good at conducting heat. So you can have like a radiator built out of terracotta and like an evaporative radiator made out of terracotta would be pretty cool.
My only worry with that would be like it would add some extra humidity to the room.
Well, you could put it outside. You use it just as a cooling system that maybe it could cool off your patio as well. But it would provide some cooling power as air flows through it. But I think the main potential could be having a closed line flowing through the radiator, and then also an open line of water dripping into the radiator, of two separate lines going through the radiator with the water on the outside and the closed heat transfer pipe on the inside. And then it would cool down, so you could then put that in line with the rest of your desiccant dehumidifying system.
Yeah.
To cool it down. So it's just another, if you can't swing the solar cooling panels, you could have the
what, terracotta
radiator.
Exactly.
And there are existing, like, I know in India they make them a lot, like these big walls with like terracotta pipes, and then they drip water through it and the wind blows through it and it like cools off an area pretty well. They do that in India. So it's like the same idea, taking that but then just making it more modular so it could fit into an existing desiccant dehumidifying loop. So that's about it for solar punk air conditioning technologies. Stay tuned for the after show coming up next. We'll talk for a little more about in the after show. I know all the fans like the after show.
The after shows, just be warned, we're a little more raunchy, a little more unhinged.
Yep.
We're just cutting loose.
But anyways, like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, check out the website, and just follow us on socials.
Yeah, we're on Blue Sky, True Social, Just Joking, TikTok, X. Reddit, X.
Well, Twitter.
Facebook.
I call it Twitter still.
Whatever you want to call it. Elon Musk app.
Yeah. Okay, after show. Future. This is just a solar punk brainstorm sesh.
Welcome.
We're getting a little loose, a little crazy.
We might say a couple swear words. I don't know.
I don't know
why. I jumped into Donald Trump there.
Yeah. It's all right.
No, it's
that
not.
happens.
No, but let's keep going.
I'm thinking, so I think we can bootstrap some interesting technologies.
Like rocket boots?
Yeah. No, I'm thinking we start a culinary mushroom farm.
Yeah.
You like that idea? Like lions.
Wait, what?
Culinary mushroom farm.
Oh, okay. I thought you said
like, colony.
Yeah, for some reason.
Anyways,
so I was like, wait, we're gonna like make like a society. But yeah, culinary mushroom farm. I think that's a good idea. Like we can grow some chicken in the sea. I've been hearing good things.
Oyster.
I've never tried it. Is that oyster? No,
chicken of the sea. Chicken of the woods.
Chicken of the woods. My
chicken
bad,
of the
guys.
Sea is,
this is why it's the after show. We're gonna say what we're gonna say. We're not, no cuts.
Yeah. Anyways, the
chicken of the woods.
Chicken of the woods is kind of hard to grow indoors, I think, but we could give it a shot. We could try.
No, we can like manufacture it.
Yeah.
Grow some breeds.
Yeah, so mushroom farm, maybe shiitakes. We could try our hand at some shiitakes. If we can find somebody with a nice forested lot, like some forest
collect
land.
a couple spores.
Well, we can collect logs because shiitakes you grow in logs, so we can inoculate some logs. Have a little shiitake operation. But lion's mane, and then we can have. I feel like the culinary mushroom business is just a good foot in the door for solar punk business. Like it's like community based. You're selling to your community, and it's decent. It's not really that bad for the environment. It's good for the people.
Very good.
Scientific. Learn a lot.
It is that.
So, I think we could do that and have our clothing business where we upcycle thrifted clothes, and then we put designs on them and tie-dye them or something.
And then once we get the mushroom culinary farm going, like we could start growing some mushrooms for some teas.
Yep.
Like a coffee, like a mushroom coffee type stuff.
Yep, definitely. It's like the same mushrooms, like functional mushrooms for that. We can definitely grow some functional mushrooms. We would have to get like a dehydrator set up. Yeah, so stay tuned, Solar Punk community. We're gonna get our business started with, culinary mushrooms and upcycling fashion, and then we will hopefully be able to start a nonprofit. Then we can divert funds from our business into the nonprofit,
into charity,
and start a nonprofit. Yeah. So that's the plan. Thanks, guys.